on. You guys know what time it is. It is Thursday. We are officially live, you guys. Sorry for the delay. We had to get everything ready on the back end, but we have an amazing show for you tonight. I'm your host, Coach Terrence Wood. To the far right, you see my boy, Q the Guru. What's going on, Playmaker?
Man, what's going on, man? We got an interesting season, man. We've embarked on here, man. Week to week, it's been a lot of upsets, man, already. So I mean, we got to take it week by week, man. A lot of teams we expected really to be like ranked high and doing some damage, man. And it's been rough for some teams. But we've had a lot of sleepers too. We've had more sleepers in Boston College. Those type programs where you haven't heard about in recent years, man, that are really bouncing back nice. Miami as well.
Yeah. 100%. And we're going to get into all of that. But you guys see the gentleman that we have in the middle of the screen. You guys, this is somebody that is my big brother, somebody that I respect highly. Played at the University of Hawaii, quarterback one. Comes from my alma mater, Archbishop Riordan High School, was a Bay Area baller. You guys had a lot of options coming out of high school, chose to go to the Big Island. A lot of respect in the Bay Area for this person. And definitely myself, we actually got inducted into our high school's Hall of Fame on the same day. So very, very special time. He is also, you guys, the nephew of the great Hollywood actor, Danny Glover. And this is none other than the great Rodney Glover. What's going on, big time?
How we doing, my man? How we doing? How we doing today? The great, huh?
I like that. Man, we're doing good. Can you hear us okay?
I can hear you perfect. Thank you. Can you hear me well?
Okay, we're getting a little feedback, and that's so you guys know we are officially live. Can you hear Rodney?
Yes, I can. I can. Are you having a hard time hearing me, huh?
I can hear you now, but breaking up a little bit. Thing. All right, so let's everybody back. I think I got Rodney Q. You got me loud and clear? Okay.
We lost him, Q, huh?
Right, gentlemen. Sorry about that. So,
No
Rodney, can you hear me? All right.
Yes, I can.
We got some people already logging in to Eric Paul with us. So talk to me a little bit, Rodney. I mean, how does somebody go all the way from San Francisco to the Big Island?
Well, let's just be 100% honest. When I was coming out of high school in 91, there weren't too many black quarterbacks playing college football, and that's something that I was very, very aware of, something I understood. And basically, I never played any other position. So that was really, really it for me, is trying to get out there and play quarterback, because that's something that I knew I was capable of doing. So I was really, really, really stern about that, even though I had some other places that were a lot more glorious, but as in a football, situation. But when you come to a life situation, I couldn't have picked a better place than Honolulu. The people in Honolulu and the warm, gracious aloha, the unconditional love is something that for me is something that I still live by. So it's a life experience, and it was very, very, very joyful, very joyful.
That's amazing, and I'm sure it was. When you were thinking back to that time when you were making that decision, did you ever get homesick, or did you ever second guess yourself?
Oh yes, I did. I definitely second guessed myself because the situation, I came. We were, as you know, we were two back, tight end, two wide receiver, offense. We were 50-50 run, 50 run, 50 pass. That's basically how what we did over here. And then to go into a place where they were basically a triple option team with some run and shoot aspects, it was very, very, very difficult, especially when you had City College right across the street, and they were three wide and one back, and we're getting guys off everywhere. So I definitely did second guess myself.
Wow, that's amazing. So you mentioned that you had some other schools looking at you. Did they want you to switch positions?
Oh, that was definitely something that was talked about early. It was a few schools. I took my trips to Oregon State, Arizona State. I went to Illinois, and then I went to Cal. And of course, being a Bay Area kid, I wanted to go to Cal. But it was a situation where no real school wanted to play me at quarterback. And so that's really the main reason that I went to Hawaii, because that's something that they said that they were going to do. They were going to play me at quarterback. So.
Wow, that's amazing. And yes, different time, and you stuck to your guns. And for those that never got a chance to see Rodney play, we actually do have a little clip here. So check him out.
An excellent receiver. He runs very well-designed routes. And you can see the protection there, the hinge protection. And here's Glover with the pass. He gets it off. Kubayama brings it in.
The play in the game. Triple wide receiver to the left for the Rainbow. Glover. California blitzes. Glover in trouble. He gets outside for running room. He's at the 40, down the far sideline. He may score. Glover at the 5 and is out of bounds at the 1-yard line. What a play.
Field in a hurry. Watch the coverage. It's there. But they get so much penetration, they play themselves right out of the play. Nobody's there to contain Glover. And Glover, the only guy on the Hawaii team recruited by Cal, comes back to hurt him.
54-yard gain. The ball inside the 1-yard line for the Rainbows. What a play. Glover able to get outside, and he was running in a vacant.
There you have it, the great Rodney Glover. You got a little wheels there.
A little bit.
And they actually made a mention to Cal recruiting you. Did they recruit you at another position or quarterback?
Yes. Yeah, no, they recruited me at another position. It was awesome to go over there because Cal's where I wanted to go, and the great Damian Simeon was my host. And it was interesting too because my recruiting time was during basketball season, and basketball was actually one of the reasons why I went to Riordan, because Riordan was a great basketball school. But football is something that I've always played because I grew up, in Lakeview over in Montana, and I used to walk down to over off of Mission, catch the 20C, 20J over to Westmore, and I played the Daly City Jets, Rams, and Vikings. And it's funny. This funny story is because my second year of playing football, I was a lineman, and then we were at before practice, and I threw a ball. And since the age of 10, I didn't play anything else but quarterback. So it was one of those things where, everybody was recruiting me. Illinois, when I went to my trip to Illinois, they recruited me as a safety. I had people just recruit me as an athlete. And of course, I've always, pride myself on being athletic, but I've only played quarterback in football. So it was kind of hard to think about playing another position.
Well, that's amazing, and I'm glad that you did stick to your guns. A lot of athletes do switch up. We are on to our next topic, you guys, and I'm glad we're talking to this gentleman because black quarterback. Black quarterback is our next topic, and you mentioned how things were different when you played. I came to Riordan right after you, and it still was a little bit of a taboo, but now there's a black quarterback renaissance. I mean, we see black quarterbacks all over the NFL. When you look at the top-ranked college quarterbacks, a lot of them are black. When you look at some of the top-ranked high school quarterbacks coming into the ranks, a lot of them are black. So talk to me a little bit. We'll start with you, Rodney, because obviously you played the position at a high level. Do you think that we are done with the idea that we can no longer play quarterback and be smart enough to play the position? Or do you think that there's still some of that out there?
Well, it's just in reality, there's always going to be some doubters. In reality, there'll always be some doubters. But you can just check the NFL roster of the starters in week 1, and you can just see that at the highest level, it's proven it can be done, and it can be done very, very well. The best quarterback in the NFL, there he is, Mahomes. It just can be done. Anybody can play any position as long as they're capable of doing it. And it's for me growing up, it was a huge stigma. And when I went to college, it's funny because I went to college and everybody was a high school quarterback. Everybody was a high school quarterback. And of course, in most situations, you have your most athletic person in that position in a high school team. But, when you have the skill, the capability, and now the athleticism, because you have to have a lot of athleticism in these high caliber sports, because you have to be able to move, or you have to have a quick thought process. And we're showing that we're definitely able to fulfill the job and fulfill it at a high level.
I love it right there. And kudos to people like you. I switched. I knew I wanted to switch to defensive back, but you held true to your guns, and it's people like you that help pave the way. So I appreciate that. Talk to me a little bit, Q. I mean, I think all 32 teams, man, have had a black quarterback play and suit up for them at some point in time. We talked many times about the day and the age of guys like Warren Moon, guys like Randall Cunningham, obviously the great Doug Williams, that maybe just didn't get the just due that they deserve. But now we got a whole new generation coming up, and they're taking names. So, Q, when you think about where the game is today, do you think that we have a point where we have more black quarterbacks starting in the NFL than white quarterbacks?
That way. Just to kind of go back what you said, I mean, that list is so much longer even than what you mentioned. I mean, I don't know if I couldn't remember if you mentioned, Warren Moon, but it's a long list, of quarterbacks that were just flat out before their time. At this day and age, it's good to see that evolution, and see that, African-American quarterbacks, man, are just getting the opportunity to be starters, man, to be the face of franchises. I think one thing that the kind of the stigma that's always been placed on black quarterbacks, even the ones that were getting an opportunity, and I'm sure you'll attest to this as well, my man, is, oh, well, all they want to do is run. They run too much. But now that's a requirement, because now we have defensive ends that run 4.4s, right? Everything is amplified now. The athleticism is grown by leaps and bounds. So now the tools that a lot of black quarterbacks do have are absolutely necessary now. So I think that's why you're seeing that particular trend. But what I love to see is the fact that you see black quarterbacks that can read defenses and don't just can run and have a big arm, but they mentally can break down a defense and pick you apart through the air, right? But then still have the ability, if the pocket breaks down and there's nothing there, to still move the chains, but they're not just an extra running back that can throw the ball. They're legitimate quarterbacks.
Good point. As far as the evolution of the sport, do you think it's going to get to the point, Rodney, where, like you said, you just need somebody more dynamic to win a Super Bowl, to win a national championship, or do you think we'll actually go back to the pocket passing?
Well, let's just look at the successful white quarterbacks right now, what they're able to do. Josh Allen, what can he do? He can maneuver. Purdy can maneuver. So it's you have to be able to, this sport is a great sport. And I love the evolution, because it's getting faster, it's getting bigger, it's getting stronger. And you have to be able to evolve with that. So I think that, just speed kills. And to have the athletic ability with a person that can read the defense, that can feel the pressure and move and still throw it, or even feel the pressure and get you 5-6 yards, it's just something that you need to be successful. Because we all know it's a game of inches. It's literally a game of inches.
Yeah.
You know, and to have somebody that can get you those few inches in a bad situation is something that needed. And, you know, and we are, black quarterbacks are the ones that are just more adept to doing that right now. And the league has to catch up to play that position. The league has to catch up. You know, and as you see, you know, you can see that they are trying to catch up. You know, you have Josh Allen is just a phenomenon. He's just huge. But you have to be a lot more mobile in that position to be successful because of the speed of these DNs, the speed of these D tackles, the speed of these linebackers. They're just, when you're 300 pounds, these guys can move 4.4, 4.5s, and they have 10, 15 splits of 1-3. You know, it's like, come on, you know?
Yeah. It's insane. No, it really is. It really is. What I like too is, you know, what I'm seeing, especially down here in Texas, I'm sure California, Florida as well, you know, which are kind of the football meccas, but it's the even at Pop Warner level, they're being groomed to be quarterbacks.
Yes.
They're not looking to be where I'm a quarterback and then I'm going to end up being a safety or a wide receiver. So they're grooming them young with being able to read defenses and go through your progressions and good throwing mechanics. Right.
But I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
No,
that's exactly right. But it exactly has to do with the exposure that they're able to see. It's the fact that they were able to see these successful black quarterbacks do it. Now I have the ability. I've seen Barack. I could be president. That's the feeling of it right now in the community. You know, and it's, of course, it's the most glorious position. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No.
Well, that's a good point right there, Rodney. Who did you watch? Who did? I mean, you obviously. I mean, obviously, it wasn't as many numbers as today, but you had to have somebody that you had your eye on.
It was this guy. It was a few guys. You had this guy named Tony Robinson. I believe his name is Tony Robinson. He played at Tennessee, and it's this really guy that I just adored. It was Major Wright out of West Virginia.
Yeah, I remember Major Wright. Major Wright was
This guy could roll left and flip it right, like 80, 85 yards. Yeah. And just to see guys like that is just, you know, and then of course you got the few quarterbacks growing up. You know, you had the Randalls, you had the Rodney Peets, you know, but it wasn't, you know, most of in college, most of the quarterbacks that looked like me were running option. You know, they were option quarterbacks. You know, I was in San Francisco. I didn't get to see many HBCU colleges because, you know, of course, there were black quarterbacks that had a major talent there, but I didn't have that exposure. But for me, it was, you know, and being on the West Coast, it wasn't too many black quarterbacks. You know, Warren played in the Pac-10 when I was growing up. You had Rodney Peete, you know, and that was pretty much.
It was about it, yeah.
That was pretty much it.
Yeah,
you know?
That era, yeah. You know? It was that little.
Tony Rice, maybe.
Yeah, Tony Rice in Notre Dame, but he was more of an option.
He more played, a little bit more option,
you don't have more wiggled in passing, but so it's just the only guys for me that was really just flipping the ball that I had exposure to was when I was able to see Major Wright really play at West Virginia.
Great point right there. And maybe that's it. You know, they're seeing more people that look like them. So then more of them are going out for the position. So that's a good reflection right there. We are on, and obviously you guys will be talking about this more, but there is a huge wave of black quarterbacks already playing in the NFL, the Jordan Loves. These guys are winning MVPs, you know, and they're the highest paid player. So we will definitely be talking about this more. But this one was fresh off the press, you guys. And I know that Q, you and I were sharing stories about this. And this is unprecedented. NIL, name, image, and likeness, has flipped the sport on its head. And we've got, for the first time, you guys, a QB1. A QB1, Matthew Sluka from UNLV, 3-0, said, I'm done. I'm done, Rodney and Q. They're not paying me what they said they were going to pay me, and I'm not staying around to see how good we can be. This is interesting because this is the year that we are expanding the playoffs, and UNLV was in the mix. So I'll bring it to you, Q. Do you think this young man is making the right decision, being about his ticket, or do you think that he should be about the 3-0 season?
No. I think he's letting down most first and foremost his teammates. And we've been saying this for forever, man. When you make yourself where you're strictly chasing the bag, and that's pretty much it, that gets to be a problem, because it's like, okay, even if he does this and think that he's putting himself in a better position, right? If he goes to another university, it's going to be one of those things where how's the coaches really going to be looking at him? How's the team really going to receive him? Because they're going to be like, oh, okay, you're going to do the same thing. You don't get a bag here. You don't come in and immediately beat a man. QB1 here. You're going to leave. So it's almost like you put a bullseye on your back. Like if he was going to do this in regards to NIL, then prove yourself. Take your team from 3-0 and then take them through the season, get to a bowl, win that. Now you have some leverage. You're 3-0.
Well, he's a senior. He's a senior, so he's redshirting, hoping to keep that 1 year of eligibility.
Well, that's still, I mean, I understand where he's coming from, man, but it's one of those things now where, man, look, especially if it's your senior year, man, finish it out. Because even if you were looking for an opportunity to go to the next level, the scouts are still going to be looking at you the same way.
It's going to be like PE.
Exactly. QB1, when you're QB1 at a major D1 school, it goes beyond the field, right? Because you're the leader on and off the field. You win, they look at you. You lose, they look at you. Your teammates aren't performing, sometimes they'll still look at you. Well, you're the quarterback, why didn't you motivate him? So that's what maybe he's forgotten somewhere along the line. So it'll be interesting to see how that pans out.
Talk to me, Rodney. Hawaii offers you $100K. They only pay you 10. Are you going to chunk the deuce on the team and go somewhere you can get your money, or you staying?
Well, as a was he a senior? Gonna be a senior, so he's 20, $100,000 in the whole scheme of life. Me being a 50-year-old man is a lot of money for him, but in the whole scheme of life and what he's throwing away, it's not worth it to me. To me, it's not worth it. I'm 3-0. I'm going to have the position to be able to make that money back if I continue. Success equals money.
There you go.
Period. And no matter how in life. So now I'm at UNLV. I'm 3-0. We end up we do something the team has never done. All right. Now what am I? I'm the man in Vegas for the rest of my life. You think that's worth $100,000?
Exactly.
I'm the man in Vegas for the next 50, 60 years now. No matter where I'm going.
Right.
It's smoke a day, every day up in here.
And Vegas is somewhere you want to be the man, Coach, if we not had Coach Cooper on, right? If you want to be the man somewhere, Vegas is one of those places you want to be the man.
Don't get me wrong. A promise is a promise, and if the young man was promised, I know he feels broken that it was promised, but now you 3-0 and everybody in the room has got goosebumps. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's the feeling that you will never get again, man. That feeling just doesn't come every single day of your life with 100-something guys that you blood, sweat, and tears with. So for me, I'm sticking with it. I'm understanding it, but I got a chip on my shoulder now. I fuel that a different way, and I go out there and just try to ball out the best I can to of course, it's going to benefit the guy that promised me something that didn't give to me, but still, ultimately, it's going to benefit me because I could put myself in a position to be legendary.
Absolutely.
Speak to the kids that are listening right now that may be in this situation in the future. Do you think this is a case-by-case basis? Do you think they should consult with somebody? What do you think should happen if you're not getting your money, but you're balling?
Okay, let me just say something to anybody that plays this sport as a young person. Forget thinking of the money when you're playing the sport. You play this sport for the love. And if you're good enough, the money will come. The praise will come. The adoration will come. You play this game because you love it. You play this game for any other reason, you end up hurt. All right, that's the one thing that you do not want to do is end up hurt playing this game. So play it for the love of the game. Don't play it because of the monetary value that it gives you. And don't get me wrong, I don't love what's going on. I wish it was done differently. You know, I understand that it needed to be done. You know, because these universities are making tons of money off these kids, and these kids are, some of them aren't even getting an education because they don't go to school. So that's the first thing I need to do. Remember, you're a student athlete first. Let's preserve the integrity and the beauty and the sanctity of this beautiful game, and let's play it for the love of it, because that's why you started playing it when you were in Pop Warner. Oh, well, you didn't play it for no money. You did it because you loved it. So let's play it for the love, because you know what? I love to play it right now for nothing. I love to play it right now for nothing. I'd pay you if I could play football right now.
I love it. I love it. So, hey, that's important for you young athletes to listen to. This is somebody that's a Division I former quarterback, had options. He's saying you need to think twice. We're in this money era, but don't let that short term ruin your long term. This young man could have been the king of Las Vegas, and we don't know where he's going next. So great feedback right there, you guys. We are on to our next topic, and if you're joining us for the very first time, I'm your host, Coach Terrence Wood. You got the guru, and you're rocking with the great Rodney Glover, quarterback at Hawaii, Archbishop Riordan, and doing amazing things right now in the community. This one caught my attention, you guys. Very unfortunate, but this is something that comes with the sport. And former quarterback Tommy Kramer played with the Vikings, University of Minnesota, actually a college Hall of Famer, says that he has dementia, you guys. And from his playing days, we've got Favre here saying he's got Parkinson's. We've all seen what's happened to Tua lately, and his career may be gone. We may not see him on a football field again. So let me ask you, Q. There's a lot in place to protect the quarterbacks. You can't hit them in practice. You can barely hit them in the games. Do you think that the game is doing enough to protect these guys, or do you think that we need to do more?
I mean, they're trying. I feel like that as far as the rules, especially for the quarterback position, they're trying to protect the QBs the best they possibly can, along with the evolution of equipment. The helmets themselves, are lighter. They're more durable. They protect even better than the ones that were, in our era. Obviously, a guy like Tommy Kramer that was, right around in our era, if not before, it was free game. What a lot of people consider like real football, like that. When I say a man's game, I mean, it was a man's game back then. I remember that.
Hit the quarterback in practice.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm sure you all have seen that legendary picture with Y.A. Tittle, with his head bleeding, playing Dick Buckus and those guys, and that's a legendary sports pick of all time, one of them. But I mean, that was the game back then, man. Like it was blood sport, so it's definitely, you hate to hear things like that, but that is the nature of the sport. And they've done a lot over the years, to try to, be as preventative as possible.
So you're comfortable with where it's at now, the rules?
Yeah. I mean, especially for the quarterback position. Yeah.
Talk to me, Rodney. I mean, you took some of those shots. I did too. And Riordan playing against St. Francis and some of those other schools. Do you think that we're a little too soft on the quarterbacks today? You played in the medieval days with me. Or do you think that we need to protect them more?
I think it's football. It's a violent sport. And I understand a lot of money is invested in the quarterback. A lot of money is invested in the quarterback. So they picture that as but it's football, man. And that's why you have pads. Maybe they should put more pads on. Maybe they should be more mobile. But it's football. Maybe they should. The thing about it is, I learned how to take a hit, and I learned how to give a hit. There's differences to that. Understand a quarterback in the position that they're in. They're standing still, and are they in their pocket? And I can understand the lower extremities of it. But why are you going at a DB with your head down?
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
You know, you that was taught to me at in Pop Warner. You know, you give them something else to tackle. You don't give them your head. You know,
Yeah.
so that's for me. I understand it. I don't like it being a quarterback. I don't like it at all. And a lot of it, I think, comes from just the whole situation things are where you, like you said, they don't hit in practice anymore. They have all these different turfs that they play on instead of playing on grass. And, you know, they don't learn how they don't know how to take a hit. They don't know how to give a hit when you're running. And it's, you know, a lot of people are just, I don't know. It's weird. I don't like it personally. I don't like it.
Yeah. I mean, some of it has taken away from the game, and I can agree with that because, I mean, especially on the defensive side, because a lot of guys, you know, especially on the pro level, they're so worried about getting fined, and it's such a high-speed game, you don't have time to think about, okay, well, how am I gonna tackle this dude? Instead of normally, you just run up and you sit smacking a guy. It's, well, okay, well, how am I gonna go about tackling them? And when you have to go through a thought process in a game that can be highly reactive, that's when you see more injuries, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
Yeah.
You know, I think it just has to be, you have to just continue to look at the science. And of course you're going to have, you know, it was, you know, a lot of archaic laws in the way that they would just try to, you know, blatantly kill people. They would just try to literally try to kill you. You know, because it's a mono sport. You know, it's a testosterone sport.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like you said, if I dumb that down, I'm gonna get hurt.
Right.
You know, so it's just the nature of the beast. You know, it's just unfortunate. And if you choose to play it, you have to just understand that and do whatever you can to protect. Put some knee pads on, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
if I'm hearing you right, Rodney, you say you think it should go back. You think it's too tight?
I wouldn't say too. I understand there's some things that need to be done. I understand, you know, you have the CTE issues and the using of the head and whatnot. But I just think the whole protecting the quarterback where, you know, you hit him high, you hit him in the head with you hit him in the head with your arm because you're trying to block the ball and stuff like that. Is just, come on. You know,
yeah.
He has helmet.
You look at it in one of those situations, like, you know, and I often tell, you know, parents that I speak with, football, the game of football, especially once you get on the collegiate and the professional level, especially on those levels, you know what you're signing up for. It's no different than a kid 18, 19 signing up and enlisting in the military. You know you can be deployed. You know it's a possibility if you're deployed and it's a combat situation, you might not come home. You know that before you enlist. So it's the same thing with football. It's the same thing with boxing. You know what you're getting into. You understand the nature of the sport. So it's always going to be casualties, folks. It's unfortunate, but that's just what it is. You have a bunch of highly tuned athletes running at each other at full speed, and the collisions are high velocity. So they're going to be casualties, man. It's like that. You know, again, definitely you hate to hear that, but that's just the nature of the game. It is a violent game. Sure. It is a gladiator sport, and it always will.
It is. You know, so.
Rodney, if you had a son that wanted to play football and maybe be a quarterback like you, would you be okay with that?
It's going to be his decision. I'm not going to force it on him. But the one thing I am going to do is teach him how to throw a football. That's for sure. Teach him how to throw. That's for sure.
Say whether he's on the field or not, he's going to know.
He's going to know how to throw a spiral. That's for sure.
There you go.
But you know, I know a lot of you know, friends that have kids, and they ask me this question: should I let him play? Should he play? And I was like, you know, just as long as they understand the risk and they understand that there are ways to protect yourself, you know, and there are proper techniques out there that you can, you know, work at to put you in the best position. You know, there's no guarantee for anything. You know, I can get up off this table talking to you, and I can twist my ankle just for some weird reason. You know, it's just,
yeah.
But as long as you train your body, protect yourself, and try to make things routine, you know, if you make tackling, getting hit routine, then you understand what happens when it, you know, of course there's going to be freak accidents. It's just the nature of any kind of sport. But if you try to make everything routine, then, you know, you can put yourself in a better position to not get hurt, you know?
Yeah.
That's a great point right there, you guys. And yeah,
I feel like, Coach, I feel like the nature of the sport, and I mean, obviously I'm going to be biased, but I just feel like, at least in America, it's something about football players. It's like the level of respect that football players get, it just goes beyond the hoopers, beyond the baseball players. Yeah, it is. If you look at it, as far as respect as a man, it goes military, football players.
They still to this day, I'll run into somebody and I'll be talking to somebody doing whatever, and they'll say blah blah blah. You get to conversation. Oh yeah, really? They tell me, oh yeah, I play college football. And they, oh really?
Yeah.
And then I say, I'll play
exactly right.
You play college quarterback, and it's like, oh really? It's like,
yeah. I'm telling you,
you know,
the level of respect is instant.
Yep.
That's just 100%, you guys, and no, you know, it's going to be interesting because they have to protect these multi-million-dollar quarterbacks, but you don't want to change the game too much. And all three of us grew up in a totally different time. And like you said, Rodney, I was consciously told by my father never take a hit that I saw coming, so I practiced that.
You know, seriously, you know, you can give them something that's not your head. You know,
right there. So we are on to our next topic, and you young quarterbacks out there, protect yourself. But we are on to our next topic, and this one I thought was good for you guys. I wanted to talk missed opportunities because we have a lot of young football players tune in to our show, and I feel like I missed some opportunities. I don't know about you guys when I was off in college, a little bit too much worrying about the ladies and everything. And I wanted to ask you two, and I'll start off with you, Q. If I was to place you in Lawrence, Kansas tomorrow as a true freshman, NIL, portal, everything going on, is there anything off the field you would have done differently?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And this is the first time I've said this on the show. I strongly recommend kids that are going off to school and make sure that you interact in a larger circle outside of the squad. Because as a student athlete, your automatic circle is always going to be your teammates, right? Maybe the hoopers too, you know. But outside of that, a lot of times, if you don't allow it, it won't go outside of that, really. You know, maybe a couple of the volleyball girls, track, you know, whatever. But it's still this little bubble. Venture outside of that. Have conversations with people, you know, in the business department, you know, that are just regular students. They're part of the student body, because you never know how your contacts are going to circle back around and pop up later on in life. You know, because you made those relationships outside of that little student athlete bubble. So that's one thing that I wish I would have utilized a lot more. And a lot of us don't do that.
That's big right there. Hopefully you young athletes are listening. Rodney, you're a Division I quarterback. You're on the Big Island. You're a true freshman again. Is there any missed opportunities that you would jump on today?
Yeah, it was, you know, coming from Riordan, never really anything about a weight room, you know, nothing about a weight room. So when I get to Hawaii, I felt like if I would have tried to bridge that gap, it took me a little bit longer to start to bridge that gap than I did. I wish I would immediately start to bridge that strength gap that I had, because I come in and, you know, we have guys there that, you know, they're freshmen. You know, they're throwing up 325, no problem. You know, I'm a skinny 180, 6'2", 170, 80 pounds, just skin and bones, no weightlifting at all, just pure athleticism. You know, I wish I would have been able to use that first semester to bridge that gap a lot faster. I attacked the classroom very, very hard. And then I realized, okay, I got that under control. And then I went to attack the weight room and to become bigger, faster, and stronger. But I wish I would have attacked them both that first semester there.
Yeah.
You
know?
know? Yeah, that's big right there. And a lot of these kids are a little bit more advanced in the weight room than when we were coming out of Riordan. So thank you for sharing that, you guys. So you got one person saying that they wish they would have connected more with people outside of the sports program. And then you got another person saying I needed to be more physical and get better in the weight room. So you guys take that to heart right there. We are on, you guys, to the lightning round. We are ripping and running through this locker room show with the great Rodney Glover, nephew of Danny Glover, superstar quarterback out of Riordan High School, and then went off to play at University of Hawaii. So it is lightning round time, baby. And I'm excited to have this gentleman on for the lightning round. For joining us for the very first time. The lightning round is our opportunity, you guys, to take our guests through a little bit of a word association game. So Rodney's got 60 seconds. I got a great list for him since I know him, and he's going to tell us the first thing that comes to his mind, unfiltered, uncensored. You ready to go, 11?
Let's go.
All right, baby. So let's rock and roll. Now you're in the Bay Area, and I think you tuned into the show before, but we don't just do this for fun. We actually got a dinner on it. So I owe you a dinner if you can be the top person on the show. Now, we already have a winner. Well, we've got two winners for the fall. We got to bring back Coach Logan. We got to bring back Alicia Jones. So if you guys are listening, we got to bring you guys back for a duel. But Rodney's going to start off our spring winner. He's going to start off our after season winner. So we're going to choose a winner after the college football playoffs. So whatever he gets tonight, he's in the catbird seat. He's in the number one seat. And then we're going to see if somebody can supplant him. So let's start off with a good number, Crusader. Let me get my clock ready here. Stopwatch. We got him set at 0. We got a great list. So first thing that comes to your mind, okay, Rodney?
All right.
All right. You get one for tech delay. One for tech delay. All right. We got some either or. We got some people I'm mentioning. So first thing that comes to your mind, the lightning round. All right. Number one. Archbishop Riordan. Go.
The done, baby.
Bob Wagner.
Bob Wagner. Thankful.
Chicken wings or fish sticks?
Chicken wings.
Best player you ever played against?
Marshawn. Falk. Marshall.
Terrell Henderson.
All day. Never came off the field.
CJ Stroud or Brock Purdy?
CJ, even though I'm a Niner, CJ's nice.
St. Ignatius High School.
Cherries.
Tim Tebow.
Oh, come on, man. Cam Newton.
Roller skates or ice skates?
Neither. How about fall on my bum? How about that
50
one?
seconds. Trip to Jamaica, trip to Brazil.
Jamaica.
Debo Samuel.
Baller.
Hot chocolate or eggnog?
Hot chocolate with eggnog.
Stop. Time. I don't know how that's going to taste.
Right.
But we got it all right.
That's
here.
gangster right there.
This is the first one. This is the first one of the lightning round for the college football playoff winner. So let's add them up. And then he's going to be in first place. Somebody's got to supplant the great Rodney Glover. So let's add them up and revisit. Once again, he gets one for tech delay, baby. So Archbishop Riordan, our old high school, he says the done. Bob Wagner, that's his coach from Hawaii. He says thankful. He's going with the chicken wings over the fish sticks. Best player you ever played against, he seen Marshall Faulk in person, the Hall of Famer. Terrell Henderson, former Riordan player with him, one of my OGs. He says all day. CJ Stroud or Brock Purdy. He's a Niners fan. He said he's going with CJ, though. Number 7, St. Ignatius, our rivals. He said the Cherries. Number 8, he said Tim Tebow. He said Cam Newton. There you go. Number 9, roller skate or ice skate. He says neither. Number 10, trip to Jamaica or Brazil. He's going to Jamaica, y'all. Number 11, he's going with baller for Debo. And then number 12, the hot chocolate, the eggnog. He said give them both. He said give them both in the cup. So he's got 12. With the tech delay, he's got 13, and that is kicking off our spring winter 13, and you're in the spot. So you got to keep tuning in to see if you win.
Right.
All right, baby. So great job right there. We are on to our audience question of the day. If you have a question, maybe a Bay Area native that knows this gentleman, put it in the comments section. Or if you just got a quarterback question or a question in general, put it in the comments section. But I know, Q, you got something for our guests.
Definitely. So I guess my question is, it's great that you stuck with your guns, and went to Hawaii, and stayed at quarterback. But had you switched positions, is there a position that you felt that you could have excelled at outside of quarterback and still had a great college career?
Man, I probably would have been a hell of a safety.
Okay.
Yeah, and had some good range, had long arms, had long strides, good peripheral vision. So I think I've been a pretty good safety.
Cool. Which essentially actually is a defensive quarterback, basically.
Yeah.
If you think about it, so that makes sense. That makes sense.
Being in the trenches, I couldn't be in the trenches and getting hit every single time in the trenches. I couldn't be a linebacker. And a wide receiver is just, you got to trust somebody else to get you the ball being a wide receiver. And I wasn't fast enough to be a running back. And then I never was really strong enough to be a tight end. So that's why I say maybe a safety would have been good for me.
Okay.
Yeah, you would have been a nice safety, man. Let me ask you this. I'll let you go, Rodney. We're in the day and age of the transfer portal. I know you didn't like the Sluka deal because it was centered around money, but I also am aware that they played around with you a little bit at Hawaii, where sometimes you were on the field, sometimes you weren't. Even in the Cal game, you didn't start that Cal game. Do you think, in all honesty, with what you went through at Hawaii, you think you would have stayed there still today, or you think you would have tried to go find greener pastures?
It's kind of hard, man, and it's funny that you asked that, because this is something I thought about for years while I was there. It was a few years while I was there at Hawaii where I thought about getting up and leaving. Actually, after my first semester, I actually went and did a workout for Coach Hayes at City College, and I was thinking of leaving. And then I thought about it after I graduated, because I finished school in 4 years, so I still have one more year of eligibility left. So I thought about it then, but it's just one of those situations. Where are you going to go, and what situation are you going to go into? I was very fortunate to I got to be in Hawaii free, man, for 5 years for free. They actually gave me money to go to school. I got an education in one of the most wonderful places in the world, and of course, I sacrificed some of my personal goals and personal thoughts and about my playing ability, but I had an opportunity, and let's be honest, if you have an opportunity and you don't secure it, you can't put that on anybody else. Whether you think you're the best person at the job, you go to practice, you prove you're the best person at the job. Sometimes you get in a situation and it doesn't work in that situation. For me, it was my junior year. I started at BYU, and I wasn't an option quarterback, and I couldn't, in that game, for some reason, I couldn't get it. They put a guy in, and we, even though I wasn't an option quarterback, we still should have won the game on my play. But it was a situation where they went back and forth, and some things happened in the game, And then, I had a situation to secure it again, and I didn't. So I can't blame anybody. I just wish I would have had a little bit more time to prove myself, and it wasn't such a quick trigger. Because every time I got on the field, the one thing that I know I always did is I put points on the board.
Right.
From the minute that I stepped on the University of Hawaii into the minute I left, no matter how much playing field I got, I scored points when I was on the field. But
you brought up a good point. Go ahead.
I can't put that on anybody else because I had an opportunity, and I didn't take care of my business.
Right.
So ultimately it's my fault. You can always look at outside circumstances and blah blah blah, but reality is that you do it enough to secure it, and obviously I didn't.
Yeah. I love that outlook, and it goes to show why you were a quarterback, because it's all on you, right? So I do love that outlook. There's parts of my career, I think you do too, where you feel the same, where maybe you didn't get the just due or the benefit of the doubt all the time, but you did have some point in time where you could have secured it. You could have locked it down. So I appreciate you being honest. Before I let you go, Rodney, because you made me think of something when you were just talking. You said, I wish I had more time. I wish I had more time to develop. Today, we live in a day and age where they're paying quarterbacks big money for NIL. There's a lot of exposure, national media, there's social media. They don't have as much time, these coaches, before they lose their job. Today, do you think that they are developing quarterbacks, or do you think that you better be ready to play and it's more sink or swim? Is there time to develop kids at quarterback today?
Well, the thing about it is you have to be able to see my situation is totally different because I was basically picking a school to play a position regardless of the offense. The only other real school was Oregon State. And at that time, they were changing from a coach from Northern Illinois, and they were going to run straight wishbone. So the only others, so Hawaii was the only school, and they threw the ball 25 times on average a game, when I was getting recruited. So for me, it was a real, and I wanted a scholarship. That's something I wanted to go to college. I didn't want to go to city college. I wanted a scholarship. So for me, that was that situation. But you have to be responsible for your own development, and you have to be able to seek. There's enough information about you and the way you play these days that your deficiencies are very noticeable. Yeah. So whatever deficiencies that you have that are not allowing you to be able to get on the field, it's up to you to seek to turn that deficiency into something positive. And once you do that, you've learned one of the most valuable life skills. And that's the beauty that I love about the sport, is the life skills that it taught me. And those are something that I'm still living by, I'm not going to give up on anything because I'm not a quitter. And that's something I learned in football. I learned to push myself, and I learned to just learn more and study more. It's so many things that this game can give you beyond just the game if you look for it. Yeah. So it's up to you to seek the development, because if I've invested a scholarship in you, NIL money in you, and if you are seeking betterment through me, it's my job as a coach to help you develop. It's not my job to give you something. Right. So I just think that it's hard for these coaches, man.
Yeah.
It's hard for these coaches, man.
I actually have one more question for you, before we let you go. I want to know, right, which I've always wanted to know with guys that play for Hawaii, how do you be in that environment, these beautiful beaches, everything around you, how do you stay focused? Because I know me at 18, might go to class, might not today, right? So it's one of those. How did you stay focused in that? Look at that beach. So how did you stay focused in that environment, man?
Well, first of all, I'm just going to be 100% honest with you. All the beautiful girls were at school, so I went to class, man.
Say less. All right.
I'm being 100% honest with you, because I've had many teammates that, that you guys probably had the same, that they got there and, it's different. It's hard. It's different for them. And they just can't handle it for whatever reason. They can't handle it. But for me, the getting up and going out and being in the sunshine every day was invigorating. Getting up and being in a culture that was so different from where I came from was invigorating. Everybody's walking around in shorts, T-shirts, and flip-flops and sunglasses, and everybody's laid back. And it's like, why wouldn't you want to go out and interact and be alive? It every day felt like you were alive in Hawaii because it was so beautiful, because it was so different. It was different from where I came from. I came from San Francisco, California. It's foggy all the time, and I wish I knew I don't know how to swim, and I didn't know how to swim then. And I wish I would have known how to swim while I was there, because it would have opened up a whole new beautiful place for me. Until this day, the relationships that I have with people from that island is just it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. It was just such a beautiful place, and it's funny you say that, because a buddy of mine from Seattle, Washington, he was my roommate named Joe Shaw. He said, Rod, man, and it was funny because it was a time where I was struggling, where, missing the city a little bit, not feeling like this offense was for me, still enjoying the place, but just whatever. And he was like, Rod, man, don't you love this place, man? I get outside and I walk up and I just look at the mountains, and they're so green, and the sun is just so gorgeous, and the skies is just so blue. And I will not lie to you, that changed my whole perspective of a lot of things in life. It simplified things for me. It didn't make things too complicated. It just stop and just relax and understand where you're at. Enjoy the moment,
Definitely.
So it's funny. Those are the two things. All the beautiful people were at school, and it was just such a beautiful place. Why not be outside and interact in it?
That makes sense.
I wasn't like you guys, man. You guys went to the cold out there in Lawrence and Boulder, man.
I might still be in Hawaii, brother, if I would have.
Right.
Hey, I'm the idiot that left twice.
Boy, you have to drag me out of there.
When you go back, bring me with you, brother.
Right.
All right. Well, hey, man, that was real good to see you, Rodney. Obviously, I love you, brother, Crusader.
Love you,
and thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you for putting your heart on the table, and we appreciate you coming on the Locker Room Show.
All right, man. Hats off to you guys, man. You keep doing what you're doing. I love the fact that you're touching young lives, showing them that there's better things out there, and sharing the knowledge, man. That's what all of life is all about. The more understanding we have to things, the better off we all can be. So just try to understand something different that you don't know, regardless of what it is. Expand your being, expand who you are, expand who you touch, and that's what you guys are doing. And I really, really appreciate you guys having me on. Thank you. Thank you.
I love it. Let's get up soon, man. Grab a lunch or something.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, brother. All right, you guys. So that is the great Rodney Glover. He was amazing quarterback, Q, coming out the Bay Area, just, a little bit above his time, before his time, If it was coming today, he'd be right up there with these top dual threat quarterbacks, that you see. He could throw, but nobody was giving him a shot to throw.
Yeah, but think about, like I said, the guys that we didn't mention, the Antoine Randall L. Hines Ward was a nice quarterback at Georgia, right? But they were forced to convert, so it's one of those things where, it was tough. It was tough for black quarterbacks, at that particular time. It just weren't getting a whole lot of opportunities. It was kind of funny, he had mentioned his offensively. He said, Hawaii threw the ball like 25 times a game. And I'm like, man, that's not even that's like half of what they, offenses throw the ball now on average, like on average, it's probably, at least 40 times a game on any given offense in any school. So that was kind of funny for him to spit that stat out. But back then, that was a lot.
It's interesting that he he said, you know what? I could go to this bigger school. I could go to Cal. I could go to, I think he had SC, but he said, I want the position. I want the position. And
Yeah.
he didn't even care about the offense. He wanted the leadership position. He wanted to stay at quarterback, which I hadn't heard him. I thought he had other quarterback options, but it sounds like he really didn't, and if he wanted to stay at the position, he was going to have to run option.
Yeah. And it's a lot of guys that wouldn't have gone that route. They wouldn't have turned down, the Cals or SC, UCLA, those teams that were always been, prominent out there in the West Coast. Being a California kid, a lot of kids wouldn't have done that. So it was big kudos to him for this man sticking to his guns and being like, no, I'm a quarterback. I'm going to prove I'm a quarterback, and I'm not going to let any other school deter me from that.
Because even some kids today are probably dealing with that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I could go to the bigger school and be a linebacker or a receiver or something.
Right.
Or I could go to New Mexico State or something and be a quarterback.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a ton of kids, man. Ton of kids dealing with that. So definitely this is a good show to run it back, and really listen to what he had to say on his thoughts and his experiences.
Yes, indeed. Jimmy saying 25 passes a game now is a strong run game.
Yeah, you thought about 25 times a game in this era. You must be running the ball about 30, right? Right. Yeah.
So no, that's it right there. Once again, you guys, I know some of the Riordan Crusaders will end up seeing that. That is somebody that was big time at my old high school. Blessed, come on the show, share his love. He's nephew of Danny Glover. Danny Glover used to be up at the school watching his nephew play, man. So big time for Rodney coming on the show tonight. So hopefully you guys enjoyed tonight's show. Q, there's a lot going on, man. We got kids saying forget the team and leaving the team. We got 12-team playoff about to take place, man. So there's a lot for us to talk about these upcoming weeks.
Definitely. I know one thing at the top of my list is going to be this quarterback situation in Texas. This Arch is looking real good right now. And we knew this was going to happen, right? We knew if they gave Arch this much, he was going to show us what we've been expecting. But then you got Quinn Ewers, who possibly could be, one of the first quarterbacks, if not the first quarterback, off the board at this upcoming draft. So you can't say that it's not going to be a controversy because Arch is balling right now. So Coach Sarkisian is going to have to make a decision. Because we've seen teams where you put back in the incumbent and you could, in some way, you could possibly lose momentum, right? So it's like, do we ride Arch out and, and let Quinn kind of just put him on ice or whatnot and reverse roles and see how it goes? Or do you put Quinn back in and, and go from there? So that'll be interesting to see.
No, that's a great point.
Especially with them being ranked number 1, too. So
a lot of times coaches have kind of a rule of thumb. Are you from the camp that if you were balling and you get hurt, you can't lose your position? Or are you from the camp that if you were balling and somebody comes in balling more, then it's theirs now? Which side are you on?
I've looked at it as a player and from a coaching standpoint, if you get hurt again, that's football. You're going to have to earn this. You're going to have to earn it back. And I can't even really tell you how, but you're going to have to earn it back. But if I'm Coach Sarkisian right now, and I don't mind saying it live, if I'm Coach Sarkisian right now, I'm not pulling Arch out.
Wow.
I'm not pulling him out. That kid is balling. He's balling. I'm not pulling him out.
He adds an element, a mobility element. We were talking about that earlier, and he is. People say he's legit fast. He's not. He's got position type speed, not just quarterback speed.
Yeah. So I mean, man, he's accurate. He's got a great arm. Obviously, he's got the Manning IQ. He's got all the tools.
Earn it back.
You have to, and I don't know how. But you can't tell me right now from what you've seen out of Arch, you're just going to snatch him up, snatch him out of there. He's got great synergy with the wide receivers. Everyone's in sync. on the same page. There's been no miscues. All the time and routes are on point. That's tough to pull that kid out right now. Because everybody's feeding off of Arch. Because you got to think about it. You have to think about it like this, Coach. A lot of these young receivers, like Wingo out of St. Louis, Missouri, he went to SLU High School. A lot of these young receivers, they went to Texas to play with Arch. Don't get it twisted. They went there to play with him. They knew about Quinn, but they went to Texas to play with Arch. That's why you have all these young wide receivers that are so talented and hungry. It wasn't about the university, so much, or Coach Sarkisian, the recruit. It was about, hey, I'm a wide receiver. I want to play with Arch.
Wow.
He's the key.
So there you have it. Good thing for Quinn Ewers that Q the Guru ain't the head coach of the University of Texas. You would have to earn back your job, brother. So this is, this is a dilemma that's going to be on Sarkisian's plate within the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see how it goes. And then you know what happens if he keeps Arch and Arch struggles, they're going to say, why didn't you go with yours? If he puts in yours and yours struggle, they're going to say, why didn't you stick with Manning? So, this is why Sarkisian gets the big bucks, you guys, because he deals with these dilemmas. I believe this puts them in the best position to win it all. When you got two quarterbacks that could play to this level, who's in a better position than Texas to win it all, man?
Yeah. I said this early on. As far as the SEC, I don't see anybody stopping them right now. I just don't. And this is offensively and defensively. Like right now, I know it's early in the season, but they're clicking on all cylinders, man. If they stay the course, I don't care if it's Alabama, Georgia, bring it. They are just right now, they are a problem. And they deserve the number one spot, man. They really do. So can they hold it? We'll see. It is the SEC, and obviously any given Saturday, things can happen. But from the way that they're looking right now, man, I don't see how they don't win the SEC outright.
Out of Ohio State, Tennessee, Alabama, and Georgia, who would you put number 2?
I'll put Ohio State 2.
Okay.
I put Ohio State 2. I put Georgia at 3.
So if you had to put your money down, you thinking we're going to have a Texas-Ohio State duel?
I say Texas-Ohio State. Yeah.
All right. So, hey, the Guru has spoken. We'll see how the rest of the season transpires, but he's saying Ohio State and Texas are in the lead right now. So, hey, thank you guys for joining us tonight. Hopefully you enjoyed Rodney. We are bringing in people that do this, you guys. We're bringing in armchair quarterbacks. We're bringing in real quarterbacks to come talk to you guys, to share some love, some expertise, to make sure you guys are gamed up to get to the next level. So thank you for joining us. I am your host, Coach Wood. That is the Guru right there. And enjoy some football this weekend, you guys. We'll see you back next Thursday with another great guest. You guys have a good one. See you at the top.